can't believe we were just talking behind the scenes of how long it's been since we've done this. I couldn't even remember how to use StreamYard, but here we are. Another frenzy, and oh my gosh, it's so good to see you guys.
It's good to see you too, man. It feels like forever since we were all sitting here on the frenzy, and man, it's good to be back.
Yeah, it's great to see you, Sean, Adam. How are you guys doing?
So awkward to not have a good in you.
I know.
We miss you,
I'm
Bobby.
not stealing that. I gotta owe him money if I use that one.
Right. You can't steal the gimmick. It's Bobby's gimmick.
Yeah, he
awkward
wrote that. Yeah. I gotta learn how to sit back like this.
Who does your taxes? I gotta find my own shtick. I don't know what it is, but it's not that, because he does it too well.
You gotta stick just as you are, man. It's great to see you,
Bobby. If you're watching, we miss you. Your presence is missing. Your ambiance.
Yeah, it's so. Yeah, we do miss you.
And your musk, Bobby. We miss your musk.
I miss your musk. I miss nuzzling in it. Now Bobby's never coming back.
Yeah, he's never coming back after that. Well, I'm really excited about tonight because we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to all of our hearts. I know, in different ways, but and just a shout out to. Hold on one second. I got to pull this up because I want to make sure I get it right. Let me go over to Instagram. All right. Shout out to, we got to go on. Here we go. Here goes Grandpa again. Here we go. Shout out to Retro and Pop Thoughts, who commented twice on my Instagram post posting this tonight's show, who said, say it right. It's the Fright Zone, ! The Fright Zone, ! So shout out to Retro and Pop Thoughts for that correction. If you look at the thumbnail, I made the correction just for you, buddy. So now it says on the thumbnail here on YouTube, The Fright Zone. So happy to do that for you. And I actually like comments like that because it's like, I like to have an additional pair of eyes or an additional perspective on things because I want to get it right. I do.
Mm-hmm.
We do. I mean, I didn't know articles were that important, but I guess it could be.
It's the definite article.
That's true. Definitive.
That's right.
I will say on the actual box it just says Fright Zone. So.
That's awesome.
Stirring that pot.
But I always call it the Fright Zone anyway. I think
we all have.
Everybody does. Yeah.
And it's actually one of two Fright Zones. So is the Fright Zone? Which is the Fright Zone? You know what I mean?
Right.
The Fright Zone.
I know which one is mine, but it's up for debate.
It is. It's up for debate now. We can see.
So let's say hello. There's a bunch of people in the comments, which is always fun to see. Shall we say hello to those folks?
I guess so. Yeah, we can definitely run through it pretty quick here. We got JMax77 saying, "Good evening, guys. We've been looking forward to see you too, brother."
Yeah.
Onryu83, hello. Another stormy night in Kentucky. Well, man, be safe out there. I know the weather's been crazy.
Yeah.
And Ray of Black came in, says 7 people in the chat, and I'm the first, like, what? Oh, hey, frenzy in chat. Well, Ray, you couldn't see there were 2 people that commented prior to you, but they commented so early that I guess when you jumped in, their comments didn't even show up in the chat. We got Allison Troy here saying greetings. What's going on, Allison? And Ace is with us. Oh my God, you guys are here and I'm not missing it. And the heart eyes, crying face. I don't know whether it's prayers or high-fiving somebody, but seriously.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, and I like all the emojis. I'm going to read out all emojis when they pop up from now.
I like that. It's a good MO to have.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to read all emojis. So yeah, people just start popping emojis in the chat. If you're here, let us know. Alf Inflict saying, "Hey, Frenzy folks, it's been too long. Good to see y'all." Actually,
Alf,
that. Good to see y'all.
yeah.
And we got a burst. We've got the horns. We've got a skull! Exclamation!
Alf, we're going to be showing some images that you sent our way later on tonight, so stick around.
That's it. And we've got Nolan here saying, "Hi, all. Cheers." And the horns. And then
Yes.
I did see this one pop back up. We got Ronald Embry waving hi. And
Ronald.
we have Eldor Wizard. "Good evening there, my good sirs." Smiley face.
Yeah.
And yes, me reading all of the emojis now is going to be probably fun and really annoying by the end of it, but that's okay. I mean, honestly, it's so long and infrequent that we do these things. I feel like I got to ham it up a little bit more.
Yeah, I like it. I will take all the ham.
Take all the hams.
What was that, Sean?
It's for the audio listeners.
That's right.
That's right.
They know what's happening.
That's true. The people listening to us in podcast form have no idea all those emojis are there.
Exactly.
I've got to do my part and make sure they're getting the full Frenzy experience.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, we should find a way to do that. I put
Set it up for that.
I gotta get it set up so these can eventually be podcasts. I still haven't figured that out.
Well, because yeah, we know several people who've said time and time again that they'll be listening in a workshop or something like that, and they'll just have us on in the background listening while they work.
Yeah.
And I am so glad that we are that entertaining. I mean, we set the bar pretty low, but if we're entertaining enough for you to be amused while you're working, have at it.
All I know is that if maybe listening is best. Some days I feel like no one needs to see me. So
Right,
yeah.
Nobody wants to see all this.
But hopefully nobody gets distracted if they're in a workshop and if they're using
power tools,
certain equipment. That's where it's like, oh God,
man.
You almost have to have a disclaimer now to say, if you're working in a workshop listening to us, we have nothing to do with any injuries that might happen.
Right.
Due to you not paying attention because we're just distracting you too much or something along those lines.
I think we actually have a high number of people that tune into this show that do work in workshops quite often. So yes.
That's actually a scary thought now. Now I'm afraid for all of you.
If you are customizing using anything like a Dremel or if you are sawing wood or using fiberglass, by all means,
anything sharp, pointy, or hot.
Razor blades. Yeah, even a hair dryer, folks, or even boiling water for your plastic. Just make sure you pay close attention to what you're doing. I know we're extremely intriguing, but definitely pay attention to what you're doing.
Be safe.
Hey, Oz, I have that exact same one.
No kidding.
Yeah, that exact same one.
What?
That's right. That's the one. Did you get it from Amazon?
No, I actually went to one of the crafting stores. I can't remember which one, but I got it from there. It was like $50. I got it. I got mine for a lot less. Well, if you shopped around, I just happened to be in there and it was like $50, and I was like, okay, let me get it. I needed one. So
yeah, that's good.
I probably could have gotten away with getting a blow dryer, but I think they look at you weird when you're bald and you walk up and you're bringing up a blow dryer. Someone be like, well, I pick out my bush, so.
Oh, I think that some of us are. I'm the type of person that no matter what it is I get, I always feel like I'm gonna get weird looks. Like, I'm buying bananas and I'm gonna get weird looks. I'm buying, soy milk. I'm gonna get weird looks. Or I'm buying, or better yet, I'm buying. Where is it? this, and I'm gonna get weird
There you go.
looks.
Yeah.
I've got one of those in my possession, but not out yet.
I haven't
So-
opened mine yet either. Okay, I'm hoping that after tonight that people in the chat and maybe you guys can help me decide what to do with this, because I love the packaging and I'm typically an opener, but
I'm gonna let you know I'm opening mine because I'm gonna
I
play with
love these. I love them. I really love
Yeah.
them so much.
Yeah, it was they hadn't hit my area yet. And a couple weeks ago, I did finally break the threshold. I got to 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. Our good friend Curtis, he decided to get me. He saw that at a Target. He was like, "You need these?" And I was like, "Yeah, how much?" And he goes, "Don't worry about it. It's for your 1K, and I'm going to send it out to you." And then, like a few days later, I get a message where he's like, "So the box I sent you is a lot bigger than just that. It's like 75 pounds." Okay, I'm joking. I told him every time I told this story that the size would get bigger. So it's actually only like it's a 10-pound box. It's like 10 or 12 pounds. It's something like that. So it's still massive. I know those figures don't weigh that much, and I have yet to open it because the weekend after it arrived, he was at MuskeeCon, so he didn't join us for Clubhouse that weekend. I told him I'd wait until he was back. Last weekend he was back, but then I had a pretty bad headache because it's it's that time of the year where the plants get frisky, and sometimes my allergies are just rough, and I had a bad headache and just couldn't go on last week. So
understandable.
This upcoming weekend, I'm finally going to get my hands all over Curtis's package, and we're going to tear it open.
You're going to get your hands all over Curtis's 75-pound package?
75-pound package. It's massive. And I'm going to rip it open. And we're going to see what the hell he shipped me this. I'm just going to assume it's a bunch of rocks. Like he just put a bunch of rocks in the damn box and sent it to me. But
I highly doubt that. Curtis is awesome. I messaged Curtis a little while ago about using epoxy sculpt, like if he had any advice, and I was like, hey, you should do a video. And then just a little bit after that, he made a video on his channel using epoxy sculpt, and yeah, Curtis is great. And I've been listening to Curtis and Matthew Deutsch talk about the 2000 X Mike Young Productions series on Legends of Grayskull, and I feel like it was so exciting to have Sean on the last episode too. So I feel like a double dose of Sean this week.
Well, also Adam too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, and Adam too. That's right. Yeah, and that was also I kind of want to touch on some of the stuff you four talked about on that episode a little bit tonight.
Well,
for sure.
If I can preface it, or however you preface it, is I guess
preface
proper pronunciation. You wanted to be on the show.
I did.
And
yeah.
Unfortunately, you were the one that was like, "Hey, if you guys really want to talk about this, I'm happy to join in." And then with the way time zones worked out, then it was like, oh, the one person who really was excited to do this was the
no hard feelings, but
would have been like 3 a.m.
Exactly. 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning on my side of the country on Saturday morning, when my daughter, who usually is away at college, she's home. Other daughter, they're trying to sleep in, and it's like they can hear, like right now they can hear me over on the other side of the house, and so it's I was like, oh man, but I just loved that you all four got a chance to talk about that stuff, and delighted in hearing it. All I would have said along the way would have been like, yeah.
Well, what did you want to say? That I actually was curious, because we got more information that weekend about the 2000X line Mondo is going to be doing. And I mean, you couldn't join in, and I'm like, you're kind of leaving me hanging here, because I really wanted to hear your take on it too.
I can make it short. I think probably not, but I'll try. I have one word, and that is clawful. right? He better be bigger than the other figures.
Mhm.
But I know that feeling. I feel that way. That's what we love about that design in that television show, especially that character. I mean, I have my NECA Staction right here. He's like one of my favorite designed characters from that show. And I loved Clawful as a kid too. So, but I do have to say, like, even if he's not bigger than the other figures, I'm still gonna get that guy. That he looks fantastic.
Mhm.
My only worry about him is, and again, this is Mondo. It's not Mattel. Mondo
Yeah.
does not seem to disappoint at all when they put out a product.
Yeah, they're amazing.
But I am hoping, because again, Clawful in 2000X is supposed to be a much larger character.
Yeah.
But the way they showed him, his knees were bent and he was hunched over.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
And I'm
the
worried.
same thing with the NECA Staction too. He's like doing the
Right.
thing.
But I'm hoping that he will stand taller than the rest of them.
Oh yeah,
Because I
maybe
don't want
he will,
them
yeah.
to do that with like Whiplash with New Eternia.
Oh, that was disappointment.
Yeah, he's supposed to be this oversized figure, so I'm expecting a big hulking, like, you know, 2-bed size, or like that other Beast Man, that oversized Whiplash. But because they made his legs permanently bent, even with articulation permanently bent, now he's just about the same height as everybody else. And I was disappointed with that. But I don't feel that we're going to get that from Mondo.
Yeah, and I'm kind of gonna treat this line like, if I can, like if they decide to sell them individually, that would make me very, very happy, because there are definitely some characters that I'm a little less excited about, that might show up, and He-Man is one of them. I'm sorry to say, he's just not my favorite version of He-Man, but
one of the cool things about this version of He-Man that I'm excited about,
his fanny pack.
No, not the fanny pack. I don't need to know where He-Man keeps his.
There, boy, did you go there?
Right. I don't need to know where. Hey, man, you know you got to keep the condoms and blue pills somewhere. But so the chest articulation, Brick was telling us about this. So, like, instead of the usual butterfly joint where you have the cuts in there, it's got the squishy, rubbery chest. So, like, it'll actually move with the joint.
Whoa.
So, if you guys have seen, they just recently released a new Maximum Hulk with the Marvel Legends. And that Hulk figure uses that kind of squishy, rubbery chest, so that you don't have, again, those extended cuts into the chest for the butterflies. And it gives it that more natural look, as if, you know, Hulk were doing the clap, which is essentially He-Man he's done the clap. He's also two-handed grip on the sword. So that's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited to see how they pull that off. And again, that's something that Mondo is going to be doing for that. And it's 1/12 scale.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see these. I just hope that we can buy them individually. It's real that articulation you're talking about, the chest articulation. I had no idea. That's really cool.
That's the first I heard about that.
I get worried about rubberized parts of action
Yeah.
figures because of the disintegration and the discoloration and stuff like that over time. But
that is one of those things that I worry about too, because I don't want that to break, like rip and tear.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want that.
But, you know, plastics have gotten better, I guess, over the years.
I suppose.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, I'm a little worried about the price. But the fact that I'm just going to pick and choose characters, that'll help with that, I think. Like,
if it's like their Ghostbusters, it's going to be radically cheaper than their 1/6 scale. Now, radically cheaper from their 1/6 scale is still more expensive than most 1/12 scale figures. So the way they did their Ghostbusters, you could get the one 6-inch or 7-inch real Ghostbuster, and then it comes with a larger, like one of the main ghosts from the story. So like Egon comes with the boogeyman.
Yeah.
That those together are $202. But if you buy Egon by himself, he comes with a companion ghost still, but it's $101. But he doesn't come with like the boogeyman. So even that, it's a 1/12 scale, so a 7-inch action figure for $100. Which again, people buy like the Mafex or the Mezcos, and those can get up and around those prices.
Yeah.
So it's not like unheard of. Some people are like, "Oh, that's crazy! You would pay that for a 1/12 scale action figure." It's like people already pay almost that much for some of these 1/12 action figures.
But in this case, and for a lot of us, definitely not me. I'm hoping for closer to $60, and that might be unrealistic for me to hope for, right? But
the thing that, from what I understood, at least, if you want to compare the Ghostbusters line to this one, is the Ghostbusters line's license required them to have that price point, though, and that was something it was dictated to them by, I guess it was Sony, because they own the Ghostbusters brand now. And at least when I saw the video back in last summer when they first announced this line, they said that they will be a lot more. They won't be as crazy priced as that. The licensing for Masters isn't nearly as nuts as it is to deal with Sony, from what I understood. The one thing that surprised me about the reveals, though, is originally they were saying it was going to be a 3-character wave per 3 characters per wave.
Yeah.
2 waves a year. And all they did was show 4 characters.
Right. That's perplexing.
So I'm wondering if they're re-engineering their production on that and trying to maybe whittle down a little bit, because, not to get political, but we're going to have tax problems with our hobbies and everything else.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if part of them trying to make it a more manageable price point right now is them saying, let's just do 2 at a time, because they literally said in the one video that I watched this past weekend, they're like, well, Clawful and He-Man are going to be a set, and then Skeletor and Man at Arms will now be a set. So I'm wondering if we're seeing wave 1 and wave 2, if they're doing it that way, which to me is even more advantageous to do it, because I'm guessing it, and this is just me throwing numbers out just based on my hopes of what this could be. Like if they said, if you buy both in the wave, it's $175 or something. That's only twice a year you're doing that.
Right.
Compared to other things out there. And to me, they're not even in production yet. Literally, that was like a test shot version or whatever. Yeah. So there is that part of me where it's like, I still have the chance of maybe saving this money and getting this and not having to go, oh, I need to do an afterpay or whatever. This literally could be the most manageable line that I could invest myself in, next to, like, I know Adam and I are both into the Frazetta girls with a lot of the Frazetta characters, and that's like one figure maybe every other month, and that's not too crazy priced either, about $60-$70 or so. Yeah. So I'm crossing my fingers with this one that Mondo is maybe rethinking how they're doing it to still make it manageable for the people that really want this line and to make it successful at that price point. So we'll see.
Yeah. We may see them, like, because I know the concept art has tons and tons of accessories and stands. Maybe they'll cut down on those just to keep the price within within range too.
I mean, honestly, like the He-Man figure, for instance, he had I think it was a little, not like vintage where it was like the Prince Valiant Filmation look, but he had a little more vintage-esque look. He had a Horseman's first pass at it look. He had a couple of different versions, and I'm like, I don't need all that stuff. You give me the 3 that they showed you at WonderCon this weekend. You give me the bare bones of power sword, axe, and shield, and you say that's a $60 to $70 figure for everything that you get there with the painting, the sculpting. There's soft goods on these.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they're literally going to do soft goods, loincloths and the tops of the boots, just like the normal Mondo figures have that.
Yeah.
For the 1/6 line. And I'm like, that's kind of the deal considering, So I don't know. I'm very interested to see the price point myself. So we'll see what happens. These are just guesses, but
we've got a couple comments coming in here, a couple people joining in. We got K-Roll in the house saying,
K-Roll.
"Hey guys," waving hand. Again, still reading all the emojis that I see, reading those out loud for our audio listeners. We have Blake from Toy Collector Magazine, well into the Moonman Zero Kickstarter campaign, guys. Make sure you check it out and back Moonman Zero.
That's right.
So he says, folks have speculated the Mondo 112 figures will be comparable to Storm Collectibles prices, $75 to $80. Again, not bad. Very much around that for Zeta Girls Icon Collectibles.
Yeah.
He also says the Mondo RGB prices were influenced by the master license holder for the property. As Sean said. That's great.
Something.
And we've also had Travis, Mr. Wonderful, jumping
All right,
in.
Travis.
Hey, folks, been a minute, been crazy busy in my end, but wanted to stop by and say hi. What's going on? And then Ace brings up this. So, have you guys seen the super articulated Vampirella for Zeta Girl?
Incredible.
Tell you, outstanding sculpt. The whole figure, everything on that's amazing. Yeah. The little graveyard scene. I thought, okay, so she was announced like either shortly before or shortly after the Four Horsemen did their figure obscura Frankenstein's creature, right? Like they both kind of went up for pre-order around the same time. When Trevor was taking his shots of Frankenstein's creature, he did a graveyard scene on one of the headstones. It said like Boris Karloff, kind of thing. He had these little names written on the headstones and everything like that. And they were stashed away in the background. That was something he did for the picture. Well, if you noticed in the Vampirella photos, I thought he was just using a similar graveyard scene because he also shoots the photography for the Frazetta Girls and stuff too. So when you saw the little gravestones in the background with Frank Frazetta and his wife's name on the headstones, I thought he was, again, just paying homage, playing with some headstones that he puts in the diorama himself. Didn't realize until like weeks later when a picture came out showing you everything you got in the package that little piece of diorama section came with the figure.
Oh, that's so cool.
Badass. Oh, man.
That's incredible.
Great. Yeah, if
that's like the only one I haven't gotten yet from that line.
So good.
Which is, I guess, my reasoning is I'm trying to hold out and just get the barbarian figures. So if it looks, if it's like Conan, Norseman, Fire and Ice, those are all kind of barbarian, and as opposed to like a horror property, right?
Yeah.
Did you get this barbarian figure, Adam?
I didn't know. He looks great though.
He looks amazing.
Sean, how are you liking him, by the way?
I love him. He's my favorite figure out of the entire line as of right now. I've wanted that kind of a barbarian look. I mean, the original ones are pretty cool. I can't lie. Like the originals were great, but that for me was, the minute I got it, I was like, chef's kiss. This is what I've been wanting for so long out of this line, and they finally went there.
Yeah, it's an incredible figure.
I totally stole the armor off of the albino Lemurian from Savage Crucible.
Oh, okay.
Because I felt that just suited Conan. Now, the funny part is I thought the armor was going to be a little tight for the 1.0 body, and it's actually big on him, which is kind of weird because I definitely thought that the 1.0 bodies were bigger than what Robert Post's using with Savage Crucible. But yeah, I totally got that figure, so I can yank his gear and put it on this Conan to make him look more how I feel Conan looks.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like a couple weeks, like a week or two after, is when the Frazetta girls announced their Conan figure.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at the weapon setup and everything, and I was like, oh
Mm-hmm.
man, that's exactly like the stuff I just
Yeah.
jacked off of my Lemurian to put on mine.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
best
I put
part
in my
is
pre-order for that this week, actually. Finally.
Mm.
I picked up 2 of these guys for myself, so I can still do one as the He-Man homage too,
Mm-hmm.
with
Nice.
the blonde hair.
Homage man.
Oh,
Homage.
I was going to ask you, Sean, do you haven't ordered yours yet? Your Conan yet?
The Frazetta girls, Conan?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
You did already.
Yeah, I
Okay.
did. Right after I got paid on the first, pretty much. So
Gotcha. Yeah, because 5K Toys has that Asian exclusive, the one with the different helmet and the
That's
straight
right.
sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted, I didn't know if you
Not gonna
saw that.
lie, I like that version of it a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Yeah, I do too. I like both versions, but I do like that one a little bit better, which I ended up pre-ordering as well.
What I ended up doing though is I was on Reddit and on the one community. I forget if it was I'm on a Frank Frazetta community, but I'm also in an action figures one. And there was somebody that posted a discount code in there to order it through Frazetta Girls. And when I saw that, I'm like, I'm going to give it a try. And it actually worked when I ordered it. So I got
can't argue with the
$15
discount
off
codes.
the order, which blew my mind. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't think it was going to work.
I wish I had known about that one.
Right.
I found it like right when I was going to order. I'm like, I'll give it a shot and see what happens. So if you're going to do another one, I'll give you the code. And then that way you can at least get a discount. Yeah. Just let me know.
No, thanks. Yeah. Not till whatever their next figure comes out.
Okay, good.
There you go. Gotcha. Yeah, like honestly, if I got that Conan, I would definitely do the unhelmeted hair because I really, really think that that's looking great. Mm-hmm. And then, did you guys see that Formo made the announcement?
Yeah,
5.5.
Yeah, they're going to be doing Rosetta figures. So we got Savage Crucible, right? They're doing theirs. Icon Collectibles doing the Frazetta Girls stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now Formo is putting their hat in the ring, and we're going to get some 5.5 scale Frazetta art.
It's amazing. It's amazing that we're in this era, and I'm terrified because
Blake's bringing it up too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's like there's so much good stuff happening right now, and I'm worried about the tariffs, and I'm worried about, I'm just worried about this breaking some people. To be honest with you, like there's so much cool stuff. It's very hard to resist. I mean, if you watch this channel, like the Sesame Street stuff that's coming out, it's just pouring out, right? Not. I'd say more like it's trickling out, but that's more than what we've had. And
right, it's almost a flood comparatively to what was around
before. And I'm worried about prices, and I honestly like 2 weeks ago. Oh my God! Of course, Sean
just rubbing it in a little.
Sean found the count early. I just was checking yesterday morning.
Not even supposed to be out.
Yesterday morning, checking the dates for the Haulathon, the NECA Haulathon. They're supposed to come out April 11th. Is that? I guess that's what they're saying. But
yeah,
folks, I guess keep an eye out at your targets. Let's embiggen Sean, if you don't mind. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's see that.
We got to get a good look at the count. Yeah.
Man, he's holding up the finger. He was giving us the count of one there for a second.
Count of one.
One buttered flipping off.
Oh my God, that is just so beautiful.
Yeah,
that's great.
Now, Sean, was he at the regular like $39.99 price point?
He was when I rang him up. He came up at $37.
Oh, okay, nice.
Hey, even better.
So yeah, I mean, he and I was saying earlier before we got on the air, like for me, it's like Bert and Ernie and the Count were my trifecta of if they were on, I was glued to the TV.
Yeah,
and because when I was a kid. even from a really young age, Dracula and like the Bela Lugosi Dracula was a huge influence for me when I was a kid. Of like, you know,
Definitely.
What scared me, yet what made me really intrigued and all that. And when he was on Sesame Street, it was just like an extension for me of that.
It was perfect.
So,
it was perfect.
But yeah, I mean, for me, it's like Bert and Ernie were like the through guys. They were the ones that every time they were on, they'd make me laugh.
Yep.
And the Count was just, I would just sit there mesmerized by his design.
The Count, for me, the Count was like frosting on the cake. Like, it's true. Like Bert and Ernie were old reliable. Like, it's going to be a blast every time you see them. And then when the Count came on, it was like, oh shit, the Count's on. You know, it's like the treat. I also feel the same way that I feel about Bert and Ernie as I do with Oscar the Grouch. Like, he's there every single episode, whereas the Count's not there all the time. Like, it's a real treat to see the Count. Like, when I was younger, I would when reruns of the Muppet Show would come on, I was always looking to see if I could spot Uncle Deadly in the back somewhere, because he was I think on 1 or 2 episodes, and just really hard to spot. And he would show up with the Vincent Price episode and maybe another one, but that's like those characters that show up like almost like they're cameos. They really stick with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was always one when I was a kid, if you could design a Muppet that looked enough like a person, it almost intrigued me more than the monster Muppets for some reason.
Oh, interesting.
Because, that was why when I was a kid, the absolute pinnacle for me of the best Muppets of all time were Statler and Waldorf.
Oh yeah,
their faces were so engaging and so interesting to look at. And there was just something about them that every time they were on, like Statler was my favorite. I liked Waldorf, but Statler was like, that was my favorite ever. And I can't even describe what it was about their faces that I love so much. But when you look at those, they are so unique of the Muppets to me. Because like Kermit is such a simple and effective design, as you got
put them back up, Skelly.
You got it's like you have characters like Oscar or Grover, where they have a little more simplicity, but then when you get into the Count, there's angles and there's all this uniqueness to his character to make him a crazy looking. But even as a kid, it blew my mind he had a beard or like a
little goatee.
Yeah, I mean, I like that kind of stuff I wouldn't have thought of to put on a Dracula character with it thinking, just Bela Lugosi. But then I'm looking at that, I'm like, it fits. It's all this weird 60s kind of counterculture that makes him work. And it does.
The paisley on the inside of his cape. I mean, come on. That's just such a great
detail.
I'm going to keep an eye out. It looks like Ace found them too.
I was going to go through some more comments here because we have a couple more people jumping in. So Duchess of Darkness is here with us saying, hello, boys, waving hi. And then we've got Eric Perryman saying, hey, everybody, Nolan and K-Roll. And then Bud's here, and he's saying,
all right, Bud.
Himaj, man.
Yeah.
All right. But yes, Ace has mentioned found all the Target Haulathon stuff at a local Target last week. Bought Pee-wee ASAP.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about Pee-wee too.
And now he's saying kind of regrets not getting the Count because he looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you get a chance, pick him up because I have a feeling he's going to be super hard to come by weeks from now.
This is an exciting haulathon, I have to say. Toys just keep getting more and more interesting every year, and with the independent toy companies and everything, Kickstarters and all this stuff, it's just so cool. So much cool stuff.
I mean, that's
speaking of.
Go ahead,
I was just gonna mention after avoiding like holding steady for Mondo 1/6 stuff for so long,
Yeah.
like the goddess that came out recently,
Yes,
I pulled the trigger on that one.
yeah.
Because
I
it
don't
was
blame
just too
you.
cool.
Yeah, so cool.
They sold out of her in 20 minutes, I heard.
I believe
The
it.
sculpt on her is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And like so it's not just they painted Tila green. That is not what they did here. There is a lot of individual tooling that went into this. So typically when we've seen, like, okay, you get the deluxe He-Man, you'll get the normal He-Man, and before that there was Mondo's He-Man, right? Where it wasn't really basing it off of the vintage toys. It was more Mondo's look and a kind of classic look.
Yeah.
So like there was these differences. But in the end, it was still a lot of the, this is He-Man. With Tila, they did all of her sculpting, make her look kind of original. And then the goddess, they were like, okay, let's use the least amount of retooling we can possible, because we really want her to feel unique and not just a cheap repaint. And I love that they did that for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mondo's just doing amazing stuff.
Ace says, if y'all want, they can go back to that Target and see if they could snag stuff for you guys. So, Skelly, if you're still looking for the count, Ace basically saying they'll go back.
Yeah, Ace, if you see a count, let me know. I'm gonna go to Target this weekend and see if I can find something too. So no rush, but yeah, if you see something out there, I'm also looking for Pee-wee too.
There you go.
But yeah, thank you for that, Ace. Yeah, Sean.
I just wanted to say, so like real quick, and this will sum up I think what we were just saying. It's like, this makes me feel like a kid again.
Yeah.
And I didn't think at 46 years old that a line was going to make me feel like a kid again, but it does. And then the other line, now that you were saying about the Kickstarters and the independent stuff, the other line that actually makes me feel like a kid again.
You gonna show it off?
This thing.
You gotta show it off. Yeah.
Nice.
If I could get it, there we go. Armies of Ashmore by Matthew Rodriguez, based on the Defenders of Eden comic books that he's created. I got my Jesse actually brought him back from a ski con for me.
Nice.
Rydor,
yes,
and Kuzo are my two favorites
out
of the first wave. And these make me feel like a kid again, just like the Muppets and Sesame Street for some crazy reason. The colors and just dinosaurs.
Yes. Matt Rod, I'm waiting on mine, man. I can't wait. I know he's shipping them out, and no rush. I know this is a big job for a guy to be doing it. So, folks, be patient with him. If you made your orders, please be patient with him. Don't drive him crazy or drive him out of the business, because these figures look amazing. I'm so excited.
Start lifting weights before you get them.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
I almost got a hernia when I lifted the box, but yeah, I survived and I got them, and also I know that I was already showed it, but that Legendary Barbarian reminded me of why I love that line too with Mythic Legions. And it's funny. It's like, with all this stuff happening crazy in the world right now, it's funny how this is still something that makes me feel like I can still wake up tomorrow and not feel like everything's going to go to crap right now. Right. At least I got something that makes me still happy.
I got
my family and my kids and all that. So
I got to piggyback on that a little bit, and not going to get too deep or heavy here, but if there's ever a time when we're feeling like, I gotta, it's silly for me to be into this stuff. These things can really help us through difficult times. And you're right, Sean. It's like family comes first. Absolutely. But sometimes it's that additional aesthetic but morsel of deliciousness that happens upon your doorstep or you see it in the store, and it just does that thing. Like this Bert and Ernie, like same feeling, Sean, like just joy, like incredible joy. It's amazing stuff. I mean, that's why also lately I've been like really spending a lot more time dabbling in the vintage stuff, like getting something that I like really enjoyed a lot as a kid, and because sometimes it's okay to need this and to enjoy these things. Did we already say hello to Alan? Alan popped in here.
I was just getting ready to bring him up because he's just popping in saying, hey, what's going on, Alan?
Good to see you.
Ace was also mentioning if anybody has a spare new Eternia battle armor Skeletor that they would like to trade, won't go off scalp prices, dream come true. So Ace is on the hunt for a new Eternia battle armor Skeletor. Anybody knows of one, please, by all means, reach out.
Sean.
I just thought of one other thing really quick, and we didn't get to do this on the show for when we talked the Mondo stuff on Legends of Grayskull.
Yeah.
I want to do it here because I thought of it like right after we quit recording, and I'm like, why did I not think of this? So out of the four of us sitting here, with this line coming out from Mondo, who is the absolute you already said Clawful, but that was because Clawful was already shown.
Yeah, I have.
So out of what hasn't been shown, who is a must-have for the shelf for you guys?
I have my answer ready.
Okay, go for it.
Go for it, Skelly. I think we know what you're going to say, but
you do. Well, there's a second. There's a close second, but the number one, Stinkor and Otifice. Yeah, number one. Like
number one.
I missed that. I mean, Otifice is Otifice, right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
Otifice.
I mean,
yeah.
I've always wanted to have Otifice, and Stinkor's, but he's got to. I just telling Mondo right now, there's got to be a patchouli option for Stinkor. There's got to be.
Look, Mattel's denying us, Mondo. Don't deny us.
Actually, side note, I was with Matthew Dooch at PowerCon. I was just about to meet up with him, and I just bought my NECA Staction Stinkor.
Nice.
At a pretty reasonable price. But yeah. Anyways, Stinkor was number one, but there's a close second.
So you took Stinkor. I'm gonna my two favorite stactions are Stinkor and Leech. So I'll say Leech.
Oh yeah, Leech.
Would love
a cool design.
That. Yeah, and I think for me that's the best version of Leech that's ever been. And I love Leech as a character, but that's like that the pinnacle of Leech is 2000.
Yeah, he's incredible.
So I would say King Hiss.
That makes sense.
2000X King Hiss was badass. He had again side of those like kind of Egyptian motif that I'm all like about, and he just looked so much like so the original toy, he was designed to look like a hero, like a champion, to kind of like fool the heroes and kind of blend in with them. Whereas like 2000X, they were like, nah, fuck that. We're gonna make him look absolutely vicious in this human-esque look. But then we're gonna turn around and he's gonna shed his skin like a snake and be a real snake underneath. And
so cool.
Like, even though it wasn't on screen, like we know that dude swallowed people whole.
Yeah.
Like there was no question. You saw that silhouette. He was just like, okay, eating people whole.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's King Hiss.
Yes.
So yeah. Give me that, Mondo. Give me that 2000X King Hiss.
For sure.
That's what I want.
For sure. And for me, not liking the snake, man, that actually is the version of King Hiss where I'm like, complete cred. He scares the hell out of me. If you have to fight somebody who's going to eat you in battle, that's just the ultimate, like, oh, dear God,
Right? Right? Like, yeah, again, that original toy, even though I thought it was cool because I was obsessed with snakes, again, I always kind of felt like once you pop the regular arms off and he's got those little wimpy little snakes underneath, It was not a very menacing toy
Nope.
overall, I admit. I only really loved it because I loved snakes. Now, the Origins version of King Hiss, that's a lot more menacing because they beefed him up a lot. But that, again, like the first time I ever truly felt like King Hiss was a threat was when they introduced him in the 2000X
Yeah, he
series.
looks great in that series. Yeah, for sure.
Man, so good. And I love the fact that they did that with classics.
Mhm.
But now the Turtles of Grayskull King Hiss. Okay, so disguised version looks kind of dopey because he's just a foot soldier or whatever, right? But when he sheds the foot soldier skin, if you guys haven't seen the Justin Rosh stop motion video for the Reptile War,
Yeah, it's a good one.
oh man, go check that out. King Hiss looks great again. Like, you know, his snake heads are like a little bit more dragony, and then like his main head's got like the cobra hood and everything like that with it now. It's insane. So that version's really, really cool too. But like I want a 2000X version of King Hiss, so I'm hoping Mondo will give that to us.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Sean?
I think for me, one of them would have to be Web Store. Because their version of Web Store in 2000X,
really good.
I know they did this. There was a staction, if I remember right?
Yes.
Yeah.
For Web Store, yeah.
For Web Store. And the thing for me is, like, if you start going where they made a staction and now you're getting an actual articulated figure finally, that to me is just like, okay, you're already surpassing what that line was for the collectors. So Web Store would be one of them, and the other one that I'd be really curious to see how they do is Roboto, because 2000X Roboto is my favorite version of Roboto.
I was going to say, Bud's with you on that.
There we go. Yeah.
Roboto. Alan, of course, was mentioning Beastman. Night One says Mosquitor 2000X line.
That'd be good too.
I gotta say, the Horde only popped up in like one episode, and those designs were fucking
friggin' amazing.
I really wish we could have seen them more. And again, we got a bunch of them in the Staction figures, which is great. But like full versions of those would have been really nice.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Also, want to say hello to our good friend Thanos Copter.
All right,
what's
Thanos?
Up, thank you for being here. Also, Rolando, Utah Toy Hunter,
all right,
jumped in the chat saying "Sup, everyone." And again, technically, Night One has joined the chat.
All right,
before this, so I think. And guys, I'm watching the numbers climb here as we go, and we got 20 people in the chat watching. Make sure you hit that like button, you know, because maybe we can convince Skelly to do this a little bit more regular. Kylie and Jed joining us as well now, so great. Numbers are jumping back up.
Fantastic.
So here it is, Thanos bringing up that fact that I was talking about earlier, that soft torso articulation. I'm sorry, I'm excited for that. Like, I really am, because that does look great in photos.
I'm cautiously optimistic on that.
I want to see how that works. I'm having a hard time picturing it.
So right now, a really good version of that is, I mean, a lot of, who is it? I want to say Storm Collectibles use kind of like a soft, like rubber over for skin textures. But if you look up Maximum Hulk that they just announced on the last Marvel Legends fan stream, his chest uses that kind of, again, soft rubber for the articulation. So you can see the images where like they do that, and you know, it's good. Yeah, see, here we go. So I was right. It's Storm Collectibles, Mithril is doing it, and the Maximum Hulk. So thank you, Thanos, my brother. I appreciate it.
I'm really interested in these. I really want to have, like, I really want to take the Mondo Beastman I have back here and have him cradling an Oedipus. Like a little tiny Oedipus.
It's the baby.
I want to have that on permanent display back there. And
just cradling him. swaddling him in blankets.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to say one more. I really want to see Merman too. I really want to see Merman.
That's the one I was really waiting for.
Yeah.
I really hope though that they go with the original Horseman colors and not like the toy colors.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Well,
that would be really cool.
Yeah.
The one thing that I know that they talked about is they're trying to go by the cartoon meets the MB Creations comic for a lot of these designs.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it maybe like they will be getting more that way than what the toy, because the toys were all they kind of did their own thing, but I feel like the cartoon and the comic kind of kept to what we would have known the color schemes to be.
Yeah,
with the kids. So
yeah, the toys kind of went their own way with that, and that's nothing against those toys because they were cool. Nobody else was really putting action figures out like that at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. The colors from the comics and the cartoon would be best.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for sure, I don't know why I thought this, but I really thought that Trapjaw would be part of one of the first waves.
That's because that's what we're used to, right? We're used to like the first waves being He-Man, Skeletor, Man-at-Arms, Beastman, either Trapjaw and Evelyn or like Merman or not Trapjaw and Evelyn so much, but Evelyn and Tila, or Trapjaw and like Merman. Again, like those 8 are typically the first ones out because they're all the fan favorites, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So this time around, they pulled 3 of the main favorites and say like, I hate to put them back there, but a third stringer with Clawful.
Yeah.
Right. Typically, when you ask people what their favorites is, Clawful is not one of the ones that jumps out at you and says, yes, this is a favorite. Mm-hmm. But he did have a much bigger presence within the 2000X canon because he was one of those main reoccurring villains through season 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's really cool that we're getting him. And in my mind, it's smart because Mondo knows a lot of people cherry pick their stuff because of their pricing.
Yeah, that's true.
So if they just rush the guns, do all the fan favorites, get all those guys out, sales are going to decline rapidly later. Like they're going to sculpt it, they're going to put it out, and then like 2 people are going to buy it. So pepper in some of the fan favorites as it goes. I think that would be for the longevity of the line. I think.
Yeah.
Agreed. Sure. I mean, for me at least, I know when they get to Trapjaw, when they get to Stinkor, especially, because he was going to be the one. If you didn't say it, Skelly, I was going to say Stinkor, and it turns out 3 of us were going to say that.
It's one of the best episodes of that entire series.
And it's an amazing design too.
Yeah, an amazing design.
But that's the thing, like like I'm already on the hook for like Ram Man, Fisto.
Yeah,
Fisto is another huge one.
Trapjaw. It's like I want going, and these are, and if it's only 2 waves a year, I'm in this line for at least the next 5 to 7 years.
I'm just saying,
this line is gonna take us. This line's gonna take us 60. It's going to take us into the decade of people not collecting toys at all.
And that's just thinking about, again, the main characters that were kind of like within the vintage toy line, within the original Filmation cartoon, and kind of what we see within the later 2000X series. But that's not including stuff like, are we going to get the Giants?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to get Count Marzo?
If they made the Giants...
I'm just going to say I wouldn't mind getting the Ambrosia beefed up web store.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Point. Yeah. Like that would be really legit. What if we got 2000X Cyclone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They could do the ones that were made like Scareglow,
Spygor, right?
Dragstore, stuff like that.
Give it to us.
There's one thing that I would be okay with them not doing. And that is 2000X Castle Grayskull.
Yeah.
I mean,
you leave that alone.
I'm okay with that not being made. I'm okay with
look,
that.
let's face it. Nobody's telling them to pull in a 1/12. Look, we're just happy they're doing 1/12 scale instead of 1/6 scale.
Yeah.
So let's hope they're not going to work on trying to up what the Horsemen did with their 1/12 scale Castle Grayskull.
Yeah,
let's leave that.
There is no Castle Grayskull they can make for the 2000X line that's going to top what Classics did on that shelf across the room for me.
Yeah,
and that is going to be part of how I'm doing this, as far as I'm concerned.
They're going to be the split.
For as much as I love 2000X, that was one of the redesigns where I'm like, you guys screwed this up. It looks like a fort. It doesn't look like a castle of mystery in any way, shape, or form. It just doesn't work.
Flat and uninteresting. And I'm going to also say this, same thing with the Revelation series. It was the Castle Grayskull in both of those cartoons, 2000X and Kevin Smith's Revolution, both kind of just a little boring. And I think it comes out. I think the reason why is because if we grew up with the Alcala illustrations, in those early designs, there's no symmetry for that castle. The symmetry is not there. It's lumpy, it's ugly, and then when we get into a more streamlined Castle Grayskull, I'm just less interested. I mean, sorry, Thanos. Sorry, Thanos.
He's hurt, man. You kicked his puppy.
I didn't mean to. I will say, when I first saw that Castle Grayskull playset on the shelf back in 2002,
it was exciting.
It was really exciting.
It was really exciting to see that on the shelf again.
Yeah.
See, honestly, every time I see Masters of the Universe return to the shelves, in a retail setting, like Sean was saying earlier, it makes him feel like a kid again. Yeah. That's exactly how I feel every time I see Masters of the Universe return to shelves. And I'm not talking when I walk into a vintage toy store necessarily and see them sealed on card. That's great. That is great. But I realize I'm in a store that's designed that has that kind of thing built in. When I walk into a modern shopping retail experience and there is new Masters of the Universe stuff on the wall, don't care if it's something all new, don't care if it's used to drive the nostalgia vibe. Because again, like when I walked in, what was that, 2001, 2002? You walked into a toy store like KB Toys, and there is Masters of the Universe sitting on the wall.
Yeah.
Man, that got me excited, feeling like a kid again. Like, I loved that. Same thing. Walking into a store, seeing Origins when it first hit, seeing that on the wall. Felt that love, that passion.
I got to piggyback off of that a little bit and say I still feel that way when I get to see those toys on the shelves at Target and Walmart now. Even though I'm not interested in most of some of the Turtles of Grayskull stuff, but it's so cool to see it on the shelf.
They disappeared from the walls again, or at least around here, because again, none of my stores sell them anymore, right? And the Turtles of Grayskull stuff's cool, but again, I like seeing that classic card.
Yeah,
with the red rocks, the blue background. Yep. So like I nearly crapped my pants when I walked into a GameStop the other weekend and they had the fan favorite Zodak in store on the shelf because they re-released them as fan favorite, not, from the original Wave 3 of Origins. And it was like, oh, there's that Origins on there. Like it feels good to see that. It
feels good to see it. You're right.
But yeah.
So to just get, I mean, when I look at this, oh, come on.
Hold on. I'm trying to embiggen you.
There we go. When I look at that, the symmetry isn't there as bad though.
That's true.
It's not.
The playset itself. But when I think of the 2000X show, I'm trying to get that up here if I can.
Yeah, when you pull up the image from the cartoon, it's very flat, very symmetrical. Like to the point where I kind of wish it was a little more run down looking.
Yeah.
And I think that would have I think it would have bring a lot more gravity to the episode where they do the flashback to King Grayskull. Because when they go back, it's all pristine and white. But then when we jump into the future and we're looking at it, Well, it looks the same, but it just looks like the Statue of Liberty. Like it got oxidized and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, no, show me like a wall that's crumbled down or broken onto the side or something like that. Like, I think it would have been much better if they kind of incorporated that. Like, I like the idea of it being a rundown haunted castle. Like, that's the thing. Like, I kind of want it to look like that. I kind of want it to feel like that.
That's just the castle. That's the castle that if you grew up in the 80s or earlier, I mean, no, not earlier.
Not earlier.
If you grew up in the 80s,
between the launch of
what am I talking about?
Universe and before 1990, where you got the Starship Eternia, there's like a certain way you kind of expect it to look. And I mean, again, I'm not one to try and yuck anybody's yum. You know, like if that's what you love, that's what you love. But to me, I definitely prefer that classic. Classic was, you know, again, it was great. And what they did with classics and sculpting that Castle Grayskull, I think there are two items that truly put me in awe with sculpting: Classics Castle Grayskull and Beathir.
That's
I'm sorry, man. The detail on Beathir is great. I'm not going to talk much about
dragon. Is that
that's the dragon?
That's the dragon.
That thing
looks
gorgeous.
so beautiful.
Oh my gosh,
that's ridiculous.
I want to see it climbing all over a Classics Grayskull. Like, I'm sorry, it's just gorgeous.
Oh, wait here. Real quick side thing here, Skelly. I missed your intro for Weekly Weirdos with your cute dog, Duchess. Thank you. I'm going to try and include Otis in a few more videos. The last video I just put on my channel, Otis makes an appearance, and he's coming up in another video. Little cameo Count Von Count appearances. But yeah, the dragon. Otis is my little dragon, and so a little side track there. But that dragon's amazing.
It is. It's gorgeous. You ever get a chance to see one in person, it will take your breath away, because you realize that's not just some statue that somebody sculpted. That's a toy.
Yeah, that's incredible. I want to know how much it weighs. That's what I'm really interested in.
Well, they said the box is like 35 to 40 pounds.
Wow.
That's just for the dragon.
It's not rotocast, so it's
it's solid
hunk of plastic that you're
oh my god, that's amazing.
It will probably. I'm guessing it'll be close to how it weighs to hold the Mondo Battle Cat, probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
That thing's 15 to 20 pounds right there.
Yeah.
Well, I admire all the people that are getting it. I think that's amazing.
I had to back out. I was getting it. Me and Ziggy were going to split it. The cost of it. And he had some circumstances change.
Yeah.
So and that's just how things go.
Makes sense.
Look, is even though I got to back out of it, like, I'm not mad about it. You know, it's just not going to happen. I am so excited for anybody who's going to get a chance to put that thing in their collection.
Me too.
That is truly a remarkable. It's going to be kind of a one-of-a-kind style toy. And to be completely honest, with the more and more stuff they unlock and keep throwing at us from that package, like all the different figures that are coming with it now, it's insane. That's great. And I really hope that all of those goals unlock for everybody who's backing it. So that way you get the most bang for your buck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you know, we've kind of been talking around a few things, and I know Sean showed off some things he picked up, and Skelly, you had some stuff. Did we want to go show anything else that we've all gotten that we're excited about? Adam, have you picked up anything lately?
Well, yeah, I did. I have to go over to the side here and get it.
Go left to the side or
it's not a surprise.
Go get that thing.
Yeah.
This guy's dead.
It's incredible.
Oh, it looks so gorgeous, and it's 1/6 scale. Hell
That's
yeah!
I know.
Incredible.
Yeah, they're so crazy to make this, but it's beautiful.
I'm so glad they did. That is so amazing.
The thing looks gorgeous the bigger and bigger it gets. Oh man. Now I kind of want to go get like an old school 80s jet ski, but deck it out like that. Put a gargoyle on the front of it.
Yeah. Get like a big gargoyle head for it.
Yeah. Laser cannons. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, Duchess, you're about to see Adam's intro in just a little bit because we're getting close to a little something. We're going to be talking about the Fright Zone pretty soon, so stick around.
Yep.
So, and guys, if you want to know more, Adam has put up his review of that. But man, is that
is beautiful.
Yeah, it's a thing of beauty. And the He-Man on there, that's from Sean. He-Man and Skeletor from Sean. So
yeah, that is so awesome.
There's no way that you can have that and not have at least a He-Man on it, and then the Skeletor was just like hey, you know what? You need a Skeletor if you got He-Man. Simple as that.
That's right.
Right? That's kind of how it goes.
Exactly. So I'm gonna name Sean and also Oz as enablers.
Well, I already have that nickname because he's
got me in a whole new rabbit hole. I've paid it forward though. I've infected many more people with it. It's like herpes now. Allison says, speaking of gargoyle heads, I need to call my ex to see how his mom's surgery went. She had several teeth extracted and rabies. So, like, you know, awesome. She went down to the emergency veterinarian.
Yeah. So what'd you get, Oz?
You know me. I'm always getting stuff in.
Yeah.
Constantly. Like I said, I'm still waiting to go through everything that's in Curtis's package. I know the sketchbook 2-pack is in there, and I can't wait to get that out because the moment they showed those guys off, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get this or when, but I'm going to get it.
So cool.
But I went over to Attorney in Dreams a couple weeks ago, and I've shown these off a couple times, but you guys know I got a Boba fetish.
Yes.
And one of my favorite comics that Dark Horse did was back in the 90s. It was Boba Fett comic. And one of the first ones they did where Boba Fett recovered, got out of the Sarlacc, Dengar picks him up, gets him suited up in his armor. One of the first things he does is there's this other bounty hunter going around who also wore Mandalorian armor, and his name was Jodacast. I did not realize that they made a toy of him in Star Wars Legacy Collection. But I picked him up.
There he is.
Yep. So still haven't opened him yet. Planning on opening him up this weekend. But yeah, I always like, even when Power of the Force 2 came out, I had the first release of Boba Fett with that one. And then later they did an IG-88 2-pack with a Boba Fett that was colored differently. So that was my toy of Jodacast when I was a kid. And now I've actually got an official one. And again, it's an older, so it doesn't have all the articulation. But this is pretty close to when I felt like the Star Wars 3 3/4 had the best articulation.
That's awesome.
So super excited to pick this guy up that weekend. The only part that's going to build me now is this is when they were doing the Build-A-Droid stuff, the Droid Factory. And I've got a head from like a Death Star protocol droid.
Wow, that's
now
cool.
I kind of want to go collect the rest of the wave so I can get the rest of that. So I might have to hunt all that down now just so I can get that droid, because it's going to bug me to have one droid piece.
It's like a jewel for a customizer,
right? But I think that's going to look really good next to my vintage toy colored vintage collection Boba Fett. I'm still trying to find the Marvel comic and the Dark Horse comic colored versions.
Yeah.
They had them at Attorney in Dreams months ago, And I was going to pick them both up that day, but I had Connor with me, and he saw the Super 7 Ultimate Dragon Zord and wanted to get that. So I put my toys back and got my son a toy.
Oh, that's you did the right thing.
I did the right thing
Mm-hmm.
until the next time I went down and they didn't have those guys anymore. I was like, son of a biscuit. But I mean, it is what it is. Connor got to enjoy that Dragon Zord, so that was cool.
That's awesome.
I picked up this guy from the new Necronominus wave. This is Sir Elijah. It's going to be my first Templar night, but I saw more and more people playing with this one, and it was a toss-up between him and Sir Gideon, and honestly, I had to go with him more, the Templar.
Oh, let's embiggen Oz.
Yeah, embiggen me if you could, please. So
that guy looks great.
Yeah, and I'm loving the chainmail hood.
Yeah.
And then in the back there, you can see that's a swappable faceplate, so I could put a skull in there instead. But then he's got this very regal-looking Templar helmet. He's got some good-looking swords and dagger in there. Just an outstanding-looking figure overall. So I can't wait to crack this guy open this weekend. And then last but certainly not least, I've still got one more thing, but that's going to show up tomorrow. Last but not least, I put this guy on pre-order a while back, and it finally came in from Helidope Toys.
Oh, nice.
Graveyard Skeleton 4-pack and all their gray, black, and white
beautiful.
Yep. Nice. So that right there is a skull mask to go on top of the skull of a skeleton, which is always kind of incredible. Weird, but
that's incredible, though.
I'm going to throw it on one of my orcs. I know I am, but the jack-o'-lantern head that comes with the headless horseman. They've got like this black and white version in here now. I can't see what you guys can see. They've also got an alternate vampire skull in here, which will be coming out again in a couple of months. They're going to be doing the skull head pack from Four Horsemen. But, this is kind of like a little early tease of it. And then I get 4 more boners from my army of Necronomina. So it's just a really exciting pack, and I was happy to get it. Lots of cool stuff in there. So all this stuff, it's going to get cracked open on the clubhouse this weekend.
Nice.
And then tomorrow, what's supposed to be coming in is the BBTS exclusive Stavros, which is it's one of those Dragaseers from Mythic Legion. So Scourge, which was the Cosmic Legion's homage to Whiplash. He was a Dragaseer, so he was like the green-looking dragon one. And then they had Arakagor, he was the blue one that came out in the Poxus wave that I picked up. So as soon as they announced that they were doing this black and red dragon Dragaseer that was exclusive to Big Bad Toy Store, I was like, okay, put that thing on pre-order, and I thought it was going into my pile of loot so I could finally ship the last of the Necronomina stuff that I had sitting in there with him, because I knew he was going to be coming out soon. But then I just checked it today. No, it didn't put it in my pile of loot. Nope, it's shipping direct to the house. So that thing is on the way. It'll be here tomorrow. Can't wait to crack him open this weekend too. So got quite a few things in, and like I said, everything that's going to be in Curtis's package. So
that's 70.
Wondering what he did. The 75-pound
package. Curtis
by
package.
Tomorrow on Offworld, it's going to be like 120 pounds. I think I'm just going to.
That's great. Well, let's do something crazy.
What?
And get to our subject matter.
Wait a minute. We have subjects?
We do. All right.
Before we talk about that, I have a long soliloquy about 2000X Snake Mountain.
Yes.
It'll only take 45 minutes, so let's go.
Let's do it.
I don't even want to start with that, because that's going to get really complicated.
Actually, I wouldn't mind the 2000X Snake Mountain, but that's a whole other
I was going to say, we got plenty of shows. We could just go do another talk. Oh, we're about to get Skelly off on a tangent about the count again.
I just want to say though that 2000X Snake Mountain is an amazing design. Definitely.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. Not everybody does, but I do.
It's not I still feel like the Filmation Snake Mountain is my favorite. Just still my favorite version.
Yeah.
Let's do an episode where we compare He-Man's Serpos to Conan's set. Let's just do a whole episode of that. You in with me, Sean? I know Sean.
I'll do that one. I'll just say the set is a pussy compared to Serpos.
Compared to Serpos, who was a fucking mountain snake.
Serpos was a mountain, and He-Man looked like a flea on it, and he still
three-headed snake.
Three-headed snake that was tearing through Eternia. And
so one time
had the snake armor, and he just went at it, and he unlocked a new power sword option, which blew my mind on top of all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you fucking sell toys, Mattel.
That's right. I remember thinking to myself when they had the season 1 ending where it was literally all of the bad guys versus Prince Adam in front of Castle Grayskull. They couldn't get
Adam
better,
not He-Man.
Yeah.
And I remember just sitting there. I was watching them on DVD at that point, and I was living with a roommate who actually was like, "Yeah, this is fun. Let's keep watching." We got to that, and I'm jumping out of my seat, going, "Oh my god, how are they going to top this?" And then it's like. Serpos is like out and he is literally like that big on the screen.
Amazing.
Mondo Serpos. That's
Mondo
the next
Serpos,
project.
Yeah.
Articulated Serpos. Don't be a bitch.
Yes.
It'll
have to be 12 feet tall.
It comes with
be like Horseman, hold my beer. And that'll be
That's what I was gonna say. Like if anybody's challenging the Horseman for most detailed articulated action figure.
Yeah.
Then they're gonna have to come out with Mondo toy sheds for your backyard.
I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Tiny houses? Like, let's do it.
If Mondo designed them, that would be amazing. I want just saying I want a
Skelly, can you build me a tiny house that looks like Snake Mountain?
Fuck yeah, I can do that.
Yes.
You just gotta have the cash, bro. But
I
yeah,
got
absolutely. I could totally do that. Actually, that's like it would be a dream come true for me.
That would be so cool.
I would love to do that. I think about that honestly every day.
That's kind of technically what Alan's doing.
Yeah, I know that. I want to get inside of the Snake Mountain. I want to be able to walk into it. And I want to be able to go upstairs and look out the window, the little hole, a little cave hole. I don't know. I think about that.
All right. So when America falls, we're all going to Mount Rushmore and turning it into Snake Mountain.
All right. I'm ready.
Let's do it. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into the topic tonight before we get sidetracked again. You know what? I'm gonna hit this little thing here. Oh, wait. You got it?
Welcome to another edition of the Battle Ram Report, brought to you by Adam, author of the BattleRamblog.com website, the best Motu site on the web. He'll throw you a He-Man punch and a Skeletor blast. Be ready to get some knowledge. Take it away, Adam.
I love it. We Bobby, we missed that voice
so much.
The Fright Zone. So this one, to the earliest, I started updating all of my articles with this. So I like to have dates. So like the earliest newspaper ad I've found for this is September 14th, 1985. So probably came out within maybe a few weeks of that, maybe a few weeks earlier than that. But that's kind of the time frame we're thinking. So yeah, this is just kind of going through my article on it, but please, everybody, feel free to jump in if anything jumps out at you. So it's not just me talking.
Well, can I just go back to this though, really quick?
Yeah.
I love this. I love this artwork so much. This is so good.
The box art for Fright Zone was polarizing to me as a kid.
Yeah.
Right. Like He-Man is stuck battling out like this dragon-headed monster from a cave. Buzz-Off's in jail with wooden sticks because he's a bitch. But Skeletor, the ultimate Lord of Destruction and Evil, like Hordak's got him wrapped up in a tree. Like, yeah. So you want to talk about he's taking on the main protagonist and antagonist of the lines.
There's a lot going on here.
Like it ain't shit. Like he's just like, I got you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
This
it's
captivates
amazing.
you. This
it's
captivates
amazing.
you.
Amazing.
And he's not even holding his weapon. He's just got his bat shield.
No, he's got his bat
That's
shield.
it.
It looks more like a pet here than a shield anyway.
It does,
definitely.
Yeah. He is not worried. So this is the prototype Bright Zone, which basically it's the final thing. But you can, like, certain things pop out, like the puppet it's not the factory painted. It's like the hand painted version of the puppet.
Yeah.
If you look around, everything's a little bit different. Like Modulok, he's got purple arms and legs.
Yeah. Why can't we get that Modulok?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. You've got Montana with like orange and red eyes and an orange torso.
And a brighter blue.
Brighter blue, yeah. Leech without the suction cup yet. They hadn't, like, even his hands are like flat. They hadn't like engineered that in yet. Unpainted Grizzlor harness. So all of this is just, you know, they're not finished yet. They don't have the final factory stuff. But yeah, I always love looking for those little details in these catalogs.
I'm always a fan of a play set that has little cubby holes, like little places to put your action figures. And even though this play set is just like two sculpted pieces of plastic put together in a V shape, and it's really simple, it's so much fun. Like, it's such a fun, simple play set. That's why so many of us were arguing for Mattel to do this. Yeah, because it's iconic, really.
So other things that I'm noticing about this, like this prototype, it doesn't have the ground piece.
Yeah, it looks like it doesn't, actually.
It's sitting on a cardboard kind of like diorama thing, but it doesn't have the rocky ground that He-Man can get trapped in. It's like sitting flat.
The little clamping rocks.
It doesn't have that. And that tree, of course, again, it's a prototype tree. It's way narrower than the actual tree that we got.
Definitely.
Right. Yeah, I think you might be right about like the floor. I mean, it's a little hard to tell with the perspective. I think the tree thing is because that's where the fold is on the on the catalog page.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, you might be right about that for the fold. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because when you look down in the picture there on the right, the tree looks thicker there than it does.
Yeah, you're right.
In the centerpiece. But there is definitely no trap floor ground in that main picture. It's sitting flat on a table without that ground piece.
Right, yeah.
Well, it's a little dark down there. But I do see behind Modulok that one stone that pokes up from the ground. You see it like it's in front.
Yeah, I see that, but it's not like there's not all of the flooring there that they're normal.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, I hadn't noticed that before, Oz, so it's a good idea.
Yeah. That's cool.
They got a lot going on the ground there, so you wouldn't, but I'm realizing it, like looking at it, like Modulok should be standing right next to the trap door, but there is no flooring there for a trap door. But if you look at the picture of He-Man with the puppet, it looks like he's standing on a trap door because it looks like they're showing his foot caught in something.
Yeah, they're
it's
showing
the
floor
floor
there
on my screen.
Oh, and the floor is also in the one underneath with the little boy and the full size tree. You can see the floor there too.
You know what? For the main photo, they probably couldn't make the floor work because of all the crap that's on the table they're displaying it on.
Maybe. Interesting.
Yeah. So they probably like just set the two wall pieces on the table and then take pictures.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. So this is you mentioned this, Skelly, like the two versions. So this is the Filmation version of the big sort of techno lair fortress of Hordak, which they offered with the fan boat, which seems like a long time ago.
Gosh, almost over a year ago now for the fan boat, I think.
Yeah, definitely, because it was last April when we were supposed to get the news about the snake layer that they never gave us.
That's right.
I remember it was like right after they revealed the winner of the fan vote. They were like, we'll give news to you April. And then we never heard anything until they showed it off at San Diego Comic-Con, and everybody
Good memory, Oz.
It's the snake layer. I'm obsessed.
I really wanted a play set of this. That would be amazing. This Fright Zone is so cool and so H.R. Geiger-esque. Very, very reminiscent of H.R. Geiger's work.
I was just thinking that same thing, like the spiny bits coming up, very biomechanical.
Very cool. Yeah, look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah, speaking of Geiger, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, totally, right?
All the piping and tubing. It's Geiger.
Yeah, this too. Yeah. I mean, there's Geiger all over this.
This even like this would make a cool diorama, even if they didn't do this playset, just like a Hordak throne.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of. Yeah.
For sure. In fact, I'm just going to do a quick interruption here and just show. I want to show Alf Inflict, guy, friend of the channel. He sent over a bunch of pictures, and I'm just going to take a moment and show these two real quick. This is his Hordak throne diorama, 3D printed, definitely combining like filmation and revelation aesthetics, and that's very cool. Yeah. So, all right, back to the Fright Zone.
Yeah. So, this is, we don't have to like pause on this. This is kind of just my cue to say something. So like, this is from the Bible, like the Princess of Power Bible. And they mentioned, it's kind of funny, they mentioned the Fright Zone. They describe it as like this big stone tower with like bats and spiders and ghosts in it. So it sounds like it might have been more of that traditional sort of, monster / Halloween kind of vibe that when they were writing this. And then, but later on, the sort of the techno tower fortress is kind of what replaced it.
I love this note here. Where did you find this note?
So this is from the Bible for the She-Ra Princess of Power show. It's like the series Bible. Allison sent me a copy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's just the rest of it. But that's...
There's a lot going on. Swamp, swampy, boggy, a tower, a large enough space where monsters are roaming freely. I love this.
Yeah, it might just be like Count Dracula's castle.
Might as well, yeah.
Yeah, right?
It's beyond that. Like it's Transylvania as a whole.
Yeah. For folks that want to start a band and you're looking for a band name, Crimson Waste is right here. Oh, also Dark Edge and Skullpath. Yeah, they're all good band names.
Now I just want to build this.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, I love this.
Yeah, and this is the one that's been going around a lot, just because the Origins one.
Yep.
Is taking some cues from this. So this is by Ed Watts. Watts also did like Dragon Walker. A lot of the sort of 84, 85 vehicles, he designed those. And this was apparently for like would have been like an Evil Warriors fortress, and it just kind of got repurposed for the Horde.
I love it. And this guy Ed Watts, I mean, the Dragon Walker is amazing. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite vehicles of all time. So I can see a lot of that style here.
Yeah, he's some great work. This is kind of just like conceptually similar. It's just an idea for a standalone trap playset. Totally different. Like you can see a palm tree there, so it's not
and
thematically the
the
same.
danger sign.
Yeah, but it's like it's kind of the same layout as the Fright Zone, and it's got the foot trap, so it's it's just different theme.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I'm just throwing this in there because I like the little photos on the side of the Fright Zone box.
I love it. I love it so much. And now, how many of you four had a Fright Zone? I mean, I'm saying four, but that's including Sean. You had one. Oz.
Oh yeah. I had all the play sets except for Eternia.
I didn't have this. No. My friend had it though.
Yeah, I had it too, and I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I think I remember getting. I have a vague memory. All my memories are vague, by the way. But I have this memory of getting this and thinking, oh, okay, and then opening it up and just having a blast with it.
Yeah, it was one of my, out of all of the Masters of the Universe playsets, Fright Zone was my favorite. And the main reason for that was just the fact of, like, per square inch, Fright Zone had the most features.
Yeah.
Like, to me, like, you have the jail with the door, you have the tree that you can trap, a figure in, wrap them up in. You had the little snake monster puppet, you had the little trap door on the floor. Like, just every inch, because this was smaller than Castle Grayskull, it was smaller than Snake Mountain, but every square inch of it was like play feature.
Yeah.
And I really think that is part of what influenced kind of like my love of monsters, right? Because again, we've done a couple episodes for the Horde where we've discussed like their comparisons with like the Universal monsters and like that kind of whole lineage with that, and seeing the Horde were the monsters, right? Like, even though the evil warriors were monstrous in a way, the Horde were like the monsters that the monsters were afraid of in a lot of ways, right? So it totally makes sense for the Fright Zone to be like every horror trope you could have: swampy bogs, like rocky mountainous terrain, just every square inch of it looking unfriendly. And I can really see that basically that's what they were trying to do with the Horde. The Horde were going to be like the monsters.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
with a giant pet dragon.
Now I totally get like the bat motif with Hordak. He was, I've always said like he was the vampire, he was the Dracula.
Yeah.
And like I can see that's where their headspace was when they started developing the Horde.
For sure. Definitely. And that tree, I mean, the tree is just screams, Universal monsters.
Yeah.
But I got to say, the vultures always reminded, like, what that tree reminds me of? That scene in the Jungle Book where the vultures are in the tree?
the like, Beatles, Beatles vultures.
Picture all three of these birds have a really thick, like
Cockney accent,
Liverpool accent.
Yeah, Liverpool. Yeah, definitely. It certainly reminds me of that too.
I know it's a song about a submarine.
Exactly. I love this playset, and I'm every once in a while I'll go on eBay and look for like a vintage one, or look at vintage stores and try and find one. But most often the tree is broken.
The puppets are all degraded and like
Yeah. So, but one of these days, there it is. There's that trap.
Yeah, that's kind of the overlooked one. That's the one that I didn't remember until I got one as a grown up. Like, oh, I didn't even notice that trap because it was my friend's, so I didn't have a lot of time with it. But
yeah.
I remember it not being such a great trap. You had to really struggle.
Wasn't.
You had to really struggle to get that foot in there.
It definitely was not the greatest of mechanics. And I remember constantly flipping it up and trying to fix it and then put it back and then play with it again. It was not a great trap. But again, this whole play set to me was just fun.
Yeah. The sculpt on this is so great. The stones look like stones. It's really cool.
And inside the jail, there's like a skull, like just a straight up a human skull in there, and the chain on the wall. Like it wasn't like Snake Mountain where there was like the demon faces. Like no, there's a human skull just chilling in this jail cell.
Love it. And here's the tree. There's the Beatles vultures.
Yep.
Which one of those is Voltac, do you think?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. The one on the right, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
The one where his wings are a little spread.
Yeah, for sure.
And their actual box.
Yeah. Where is the definite article here?
Yeah. It just says Fright Zone.
Right.
But I think in the commercial they said the Fright Zone.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Everybody always says
the Fright Zone because you add an article in front of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But clearly they didn't intend for it to be the Fright Zone.
Now, I'm a big fan of the band The Melvins, and you can say The Melvins or you can say Melvins. And either way, it's fine because they've called themselves that both ways in the past. So it's sort of it's however you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not like the band The Who, right? Like you can't just call it Who.
Yeah.
They're The Who. This is not like that. This is clearly
like the Melvins.
It's Fright Zone. It can be the Fright Zone or it could just be Fright Zone.
Sean, you look like you're about to say something.
Well, if you read the box, the way it's set up, I mean, they basically have it where it's possessive of the evil horde Fright Zone.
Oh,
if you read it that way.
Yeah.
And in order to say it without having to always say the evil horde Fright Zone, then you go to the Fright Zone, which
makes sense.
So it's like the thing that I love is when you look at the first animated Transformers movie that came out in 1986, that literally says the Transformers, the movie. And when people read that, they're like, why? It's kind of the same thing with this. If they did the evil horde, the Fright Zone, it's like,
right.
Okay. Prim and proper, you know?
All right. So even if you go back up to the picture that Adam has with like, the side panel where it shows like all the little play features and Jitsu's getting stuck in the trap. So this is the side panel of the box, and all the way on the right there, right next to Jitsu, it says contents. Fright Zone trademark play set.
Yeah.
So the trademark is
with
on
the trademarks there.
Fright Zone, not the Fright Zone. Yeah. So get over yourself, nerd boy. Oh, look, in the instruction manual, it says assemble Fright Zone set as shown. Sorry, I've scrolled down and I'm looking at your actual article, kind of reading along with this.
Yeah.
So it definitely says assemble Fright Zone play set.
Listen, the lesson here is definitely make comments, folks, because it is so much fun to talk about them. I love this discussion.
Yeah. So again, as Sean was pointing out, in the instruction manual, it's listed as Masters of the Universe, the Evil Horde, Fright Zone set instructions, contents, tree, rubber band, prison door, release lever, prison door, left wall, floor, rock, monster trap, right wall, dragon, and then it goes over showing you the assemble, and it says assemble Fright Zone set as shown. It's definitely just Fright Zone, folks. Articles don't matter. They're irrelevant.
That's awesome.
No.
Oh, and then this is beautiful. This is so beautiful. What is it about the red lines?
I don't know.
Started with Castle Grayskull.
I know. What is it about that is so like fantastic?
The cross, like, so on the back of the cards, right? The toys, the card backs, they're all color, they're all gorgeous looking and everything like that, and it's just great. But every time we got one of these big box play sets, now mind you, it's the same images you typically get on the cross sell art, but they've just got it in red lines with no color, no
money on
detail,
printing costs,
which makes sense, I guess, on a bigger surface. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm a fan of the boxes more than the cards.
I'm glad they did it. There's something about it. Like, if I was more of a tattoo person, a red tattoo of Castle Grayskull, just like this on there, might be really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, a red lined Mossman, a red lined Stinkor, pretty awesome.
This is the only cross-sell art I've ever found for Night Stalker. I don't know why.
Oh, that's interesting. Really? That makes sense.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's just Strider's cross-sell art is just only in red, so you can't really tell.
Yeah.
Allison's mentioning these were easier to use tracing paper than to trace in that color.
Yeah.
Gotta give her that. That is so true. These were much easier.
I think, Allison, I even did that. That's absolutely correct.
And folks, stand by here. Stand by. We got Bobby Dangerously is in the house joining us. Bobby, we're singing your praises. Wishing you were here with us. He says, what the hell are we talking about here? We're talking about dropping articles.
Yeah, we're dropping
no more of this
articles
the shit. Next week's show's just changing to be called Frenzy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think that might be a good idea.
We went from Toy Frenzy to the Frenzy, and now we're just Frenzy.
But then I'm going to call myself the Sean.
He's going to pick up the article after we drop it. 5-second rule.
Yeah, 5-second rule.
That's hilarious.
Or I'll call myself El Shano or something.
El Shano.
There you go.
That's hilarious.
So this is the William George line art for the box art.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Hell, that almost looks better in the black and white like that than it does with the color too.
Yeah. Somebody owns this. Don't know who.
Somebody we're very jealous of, huh?
Yep.
Now it's in Motu Joe's collection, probably rolled up in a poster cylinder somewhere.
Probably, yeah.
Joe's collection is amazing, and we told him this before when he was a guest on here. We told him he's got to at some point, put this stuff in a museum. Like his collection, we've got to see it all laid out and on display.
Yeah, I mean, it is the museum, really.
Yeah. Well, he's got one of the Battle Ram concept art pages.
Wow.
I'm not jealous at all. I'm not
totally
awake
not
at night
jealous.
Thinking about it.
Thinking about how he can sneak over there and like National Treasure style stealing it.
What can I trade Motu Joe for this?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's somebody, Damos, a German artist. He had this, just like the full layout of everything except for the back. But that was cool.
So for folks that want to print this out and make a tiny, diorama box for their action figures, that's great.
You could do it. This is from the Bruce Timm a comic that came with the Hornet Grizzler 2-pack.
Mm-hmm.
If I included this page because if you remember, in the original toy Fright Zone concept art that Mattel Creations had, they had this little monster in there, and they had the gray color too.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be good to just show this page just to,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I love this design.
And that's an actual monster as opposed to the playset, which was just a crack that opened up.
Yeah, it's just a
right.
Yep. This is beautiful too, of course.
Yeah, it's a very realistic rendition of the playset from.
Yeah. I get lost in the backgrounds of these paintings.
Yeah,
they're so well done. Oh yeah.
There's another poster with the playset version of the Fright Zone there in the background. Very literal take on the toys.
Yep.
And another Earl Norm with the animated version of the Fright Zone.
Yeah. Earl Norm, that's the name. He's the one who did this one too. Huh.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
He's even got the full moon in the background, further proving my point.
Yeah, exactly.
I like this one because it's got like Imp in there, and it's great.
So good. Uh-oh.
Yeah, and here we are to the Mattel Creations.
Modern day Origins Fright Zone playset. I'm excited about this. Is anyone else excited? No one else is excited. I'm excited about this.
No, I'm loving it. I am actually, because again, I feel like I've said it with Castle Grayskull. Like, I like the fact that they made minor improvements to Castle Grayskull. Like, again, I know you guys maybe aren't like as enthused about the symmetry on the front of it, but overall, I felt like I like the fact that the inside floor panels now actually look like wood. Adding the extension onto the platform where the turret is, so the guys can actually stand there and shoot it now. Like, I was excited. I feel like with the exception of Point Dread, I feel like they took necessary steps to improve upon the original toys when it comes to the playsets. Snake Mountain was a big, huge upgrade.
The Snake Mountain does everything that the vintage one did and then improves upon it, which is a hard thing to accomplish.
Yeah, they gave you so much more. Instead of having a net, they gave you an actual cage.
Yeah, it's so cool.
So, like, they did a lot of work there to really make a better playset. And that's what I feel like they did here. You already heard my thoughts earlier when I was talking about the Fright Zone and the vintage, how like square inch wise, like the whole thing was play features, right? And I feel like they've gone ahead and done that again.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, you can clearly see at the bottom where they've enhanced the trapdoor function.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we were all just talking about how it wasn't the greatest trapdoor, and they've added to that now, right?
Yeah, for sure.
They've got this tendril root coming down from the top that looks like, it's definitely something you can wrap a figure up in.
Yeah.
The tree itself now has the face that we saw from the old concept art. And yet still looks like something you can definitely wrap somebody up in too.
I think that's a nod to the box art, right? Because Skeletor's kind of wrapped up in the root on the
definitely.
a branch or something on the box art.
Right, like he's a little higher up and it's wrapped around him a little bit more, but
I can't tell how this is gonna work. In the vintage toy, there was a little it was a little lever and you could make the branches go like this.
Right.
And I'm not sure if I think these are like bendy rubber branches, maybe. I mean, the root looks like it might be
Well, the root definitely looks like it's bendy or whatever, but like the other branches, they look maybe a little more solid, but they've got like areas where it seems you could kind of slip their wrist into position.
Okay, yeah, I see that for sure.
So, but again, I just love the way that the tree has the face on it now. It almost looks like that mouth like can open up a little bit,
doesn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
you know,
I love anthropomorphic trees. That's just
me too.
that always gets me excited.
Going back to the Wizard of Oz and HR Puffin stuff, like I mean, man, it's so cool. And I really like this interior. It looks like the cave with the wooden gate can revolve.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like it's empty back there.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Right. Yeah. From what it looked like to me is like you can almost pop the cage off, or maybe it is something like it revolves. I don't see like a spinning hinge there or a way to spin it.
I think you pull it out and then
pull it out and then pop it back in the other side.
I think so. That's pretty cool. Weapons rack. I mean, I think the dragon serpent monster is a little small, to be honest with you, but he still looks cool. I mean, I'm not going to get that 4 horseman dragon, but I might be getting this little guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, hopefully, it'll be significantly enough cheaper. You could,
yeah. Hopefully, I'm a little worried about the price on this thing, to be honest with you.
You guys heard my thoughts on the price already. I will keep those in private.
I don't know anything about the price, actually.
So we kind of talked about it in the Frenzy chat where so it got leaked, I think, in the UK on their Amazon. And it was something like it was...
I remember now, yeah.
$128 UK.
Yeah, that's too expensive for this.
I was interested to look at what the adjustment would be from like pounds or euros, I think it was, to dollars or whatever. Yeah. Basically, it was $168 US.
That's too expensive.
And when you look at the fact that, again, there's a lot of new tooling here, they've definitely added a lot of play features. Looks like there's like an extra cage in there too, like on the side next to the other cage. Clearly, you can take the floor from the front and flip it on the inside. It's got Hordak's throne chilling up there. They got that monster face on the side of the rock. So yeah, there's a lot of new tooling here. This is definitely 0% reuse from the vintage. Like it looks like they used the model of vintage for a prototype and then just improved everything.
Okay, I'm gotta jump in here. Has anybody talked about this yet? The size of the chair?
Yeah, I don't know is that gonna actually fit Hordak up there? It's hard to tell without a figure in there.
If I'm holding this Origins size, I mean this Origins figure, and he's sitting on a chair, like I'm measuring this just like in the space with my eyes. If we compare it to like the throne, the Skeletor throne that came with Snake Mountain, which they kind of sit in but slide out, it's a little bit small for the figures, but even then, this Fright Zone might be bigger.
It probably would be, right? Because again, the Snake Mountain is bigger, right?
But this one might. I mean, yeah, I think this is going to be a bigger playset, guys, than the original Fright Zone.
You could scale it though with the crossbow in there, though.
Oh, there's that too. Oh, that chair that is going to be a little small.
It's going to be kind of puny looking for Hordak especially. Like,
yeah.
None of the Hordaks can sit in it because of his cape.
Well, there's that, and also it's like if I sit in a little kid's chair and then the chair just it's stuck to me, and I just keep walking, and there's a chair on my ass. That's kind of what's going to happen with Hordak, the poor guy.
Hey, chair ass.
Bud's just saying the same thing too about the cape. He goes, "There's no way you're gonna hit." You know, he says, "Don't forget his plastic cape and the larger cape. If you had the deluxe one, it'd be hard to sit him in the chair." Well, let's just face it. With his cape, he's not sitting in the chair. You're gonna have to take the armor off.
Yeah,
because the cape's attached to the armor. You got to take the armor off to sit him in there.
The
Turtles of Grayskull one would work because of the wings. Like you pop the wings off of that armor. You could sit that one in there, but you're not going to sit your normal Hordak figure in there. It's just not going to work.
Man, wait for Hurricane Hordak to sit in there.
Yeah,
right. But and essentially what I'm getting to is though that so. Somebody did mention that maybe the $129.99 or whatever it was on their Amazon listing could incorporate fees like import fees already and stuff like that. So there's a strong possibility of that being incorporated into that price already. But to me, what was boggling me is if, again, doing the conversion rates for the dollar amount, Fright Zone is a smaller playset than Snake Mountain, than Castle Grayskull.
Right.
There is no reason that Fright Zone should be $168.
No.
And Snake Mountain was like $75. Grayskull was like $75.
I think that they're upping the price because of the dragon. It is a
figure.
It's a big action figure, and if we're looking, I'm a little honestly, I'm gonna be interested in seeing more images because I'm confused about the scale now because that chair is way too small compared to the weapons. Thank you, Sean, for pointing that out. and the dragon creature, is really cool, but now I don't know how big it's actually going to be. The images are not really helping. That throne this image helps a lot, actually. The throne is super small. Yeah, Oz, I'm with you. This thing's got to be, unless that action figure of the dragon is like spectacular, this thing's got to be in the $80 range at the most. At the most. But that action figure, that might be the way that they're going to push it over into the $100 range. I hope not.
Yeah.
I really like this. I want it. I like the playability. Oh wait, this gets even more complicated the more I look at it. Okay, the rock claw on the bottom. In the front, rock claw on the bottom in the back. Do you move the floor? You move the floor from the front to the back. You have that option.
Yeah, you can turn it around so that there is an interior to the playset this time.
And it folds backwards. So you create the V shape on this side instead of the V shape on that side. It actually folds. It folds backward. That's pretty cool. See that? It's a V shape now, but we're on the other side. That's amazing. That's kind of that's a cool thing. Cool feature.
Yeah. I think it's overall it's a cool looking playset. I guess the question is price. I probably won't get it. I'm like this. I think I'd be most tempted out of all the Origins playsets to get this one, just because I like a lot of it. But I haven't bought any of them today.
The Snake Mountain is still it's just spectacular. But that I like this one too because of the nod to. Sorry, going all the way back. The nod to this creature on the side. That they sculpted into the new version. That's
cool too.
It's kind of amazing. I like that. I want to see if these eyes are like if they're like glass, like not glass, but like the kind of eyes they've been doing. The eyes they did with Merman and they did with Panther. Kind of interested to see if it's like a glassy eye. It's neat. I like it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, overall, I think it beats the original, but for the fact that you have two sides to play with instead of just the one.
Yeah, that's
But
cool.
to me, the part where they kind of really failed is the monster, though. Like seeing that size hole and thinking when we were kids, we had a puppet that we could punch through there and grab things and pull it through. And then this is what you get now is pretty overwhelming to me, even though there's an element of that's kind of cool that it's something different. But the more that I look at the interior side of it, when you show that, you see that hole in the wall. I can't not look at that and go, why couldn't they have put in like a dragon the size of the Dragon Walker that you could just pop through there? Because that would have fit the Dragon Walker head, and just have it ramming out and you can grab things with it like the old days and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Doing, a little bit of a different version of it. Because when I see that, it like the original puppet, if I was He-Man and that thing's coming at you, it's like, holy crap. You see this and it's kind of like, throw him a couple milk bones, he'll run after those and you can get into the place, no problem.
He is kind of cute, yeah.
I brought my dog whistle.
Jim Henson meets Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, totally.
A little bit, yeah.
There's a time and place for that, but the Fright Zone is not that place, in my opinion. So
that's going to be the next Muppet movie, is going to be a response to the Masters of the Universe movie that's coming out in 2026.
By the power of Grayskull.
It's about time that they did that.
I have the Waka Waka.
Adam, as usual, thank you for the amazing and diligent work you put into this stuff. We're all better for it.
I'm casting the Muppet Master movie in my head right now. This is where my mind is right now.
Muppet Masters.
There's somewhere, I forget where this was, but there's like a Kermit in the 87 movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He-Man outfit
Muppet
somewhere.
Oh yeah,
it was a fold-out
Eldor
magazine.
It was a
Eldor made
Muppet
a
magazine.
custom.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah,
He made a custom figure of it.
Yeah, folks, go over to Masterversal Toy Hunter's Instagram and find that. It is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. He's even got the mullet in it and everything, if I remember right.
Totally does. It's gorgeous.
I'm going to just move into Alf's photos that he sent me. He didn't send a lot, but he sent a bunch of cool pictures of stuff that Alf Inflict has been doing on his own. This is a 3D printed, dragon monster. Sean, this is the one.
That's what I'm
thing we want
about.
to see, right?
This is what I'm saying. Like that thing punching through the wall, you'd shit yourself before you got a power sword. I saw that coming at me. Sheesh.
You can get this. You can get this.
Yeah.
And put this with your Fisher Price toys, and then you can get this and put that inside the hole there.
There you go.
Yeah. So this is really cool. And then he painted it, and I just want to show you how cool the paint job is on this. That is amazing.
That's terrifying.
I mean, the thing is, the right picture there. Imagine you're in the Fright Zone. Imagine it's dark or dusk. And all of a sudden that comes out of that hole and is trying to get, that would terrify the hell out of me.
Scary. It's so horrifying. Yeah.
And then you put it next to Muppet version of that from Mattel, and it's just kind of like, oh, ain't that cute?
Aw. Well, you can have two,
You could. That could be the baby, and then the mama comes out, and it's going to literally kill you.
Here's Mama.
Mama Bear. Boo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is gorgeous. I love what Alf does with his 3D printed things, and he's got it in his vintage Fright Zone there, and his custom painted Mantana there in the front. But yeah, these are so cool.
It's proof. Literally, he's doing what my mind wants the new playset to do, and. The fact that he has the creativity and the artistic ability to make this work. Just, I applaud it because it is phenomenal. This is the stuff of nightmares, and it should be in Masters of the Universe.
That's the Masters that many of us love. Like,
absolutely,
there's an actual, I mean, and this even transcends into the Filmation cartoon, which many people just, pass off as being silly. But there are moments in the background art where there's a genuine creep factor happening back there. You don't know what's in the darkness. Mm-hmm. There's the characters are brightly colored, and there's it's fun dialogue, and it's always, kind of sweet, and the danger element is a little bit funny too. But if you look at the background art in that Filmation cartoon, it is like, it's what we're looking at right here.
Well, exactly. I mean, my favorite go-to is always House of Shakoti, and the thing I love is in part 2, once Stanlin is trapped in the temple, and He-Man and Battle Cat and Ram Man are trying to get him out. Every time I watch that episode, I always feel like there's something just a little bit off of camera that you just don't want to know is there. And
absolutely,
and that was the episode that cemented that Filmation could pull off my version of what I always wanted Masters to be. They just did it one time. Thank you, Larry DiTillio. You pulled it off at least. That was my Masters watching that episode every time.
For sure. And this is, and we'll end here with a shot of his collection, his setup there.
That's sweet.
That's cool stuff. Yeah. Thank you, Elf, for sending these our way.
Yeah, that's great.
I agree.
And Eldor's like, oh, yes, indeed. Old Motu movie Kermit Origins custom. Yeah. Beautiful.
Got up doing it still.
Oh, we got
became the mighty Fuzzy Cat, and I became
the
most powerful frog in the universe.
We got Kenzo here. Hi, Kenzo, and also
what's up, Kenny?
A couple other people popping in. We got Rob Momertz. Great to see you here. Forgive me for not pronouncing your name correctly if I didn't. But yeah, Rob agrees they got to bulk that dragon up, but I don't think that's going to happen. But make your own, folks. Make your own, like Alf showed. I guess you can probably buy that what is it called? That vector art to print the 3D printed
the file for it.
File for it. Yeah. But yeah, Oz is looking something up for us, I can tell.
Yeah. No, I was trying to find something, but I'm not having much luck.
So
it is what it is.
It is what it is. I kind of want to make another one. I made one a while back. There's a video on my channel, a few videos on my channel of the Fright Zone that I made, and I've been tempted lately to make another one, but
do it. Make all the good stuff.
I'm so jealous of that count. I just want to shout this out to the universe. I hope I find a Count Von Count. That's all.
You're gonna get it. We'll make sure of it.
And
I'm jealous of Ernie showing up. I mean, come on. It's like you got what I want, and I got what you want.
I don't know.
Well, now you guys need to go to each other's houses and play for a while.
I know. That's how it would work, right? I just have to fly across the country.
Hey, Bert.
That would be so much fun. I'm looking up at I have my Fisher Price Sesame Street playset up there that I got not too long ago.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And it is one of the most beautiful objects I've ever purchased. and I was hoping with this NECA run of figures that they would include set pieces, and it looks to me like they're going to be doing that a little bit, and I'm really excited about that. I think I saw at the last convention was the New York Toy Fair. They showed Oscar, but in the background was that brick wall, that classic brick wall that they're always behind when they're talking about stuff. And I saw that, like, things like that would make me very happy. And also a large dragon serpent to go with the Fright Zone.
One dragon serpent.
Damn you, Sean. You know, Bobby's watching right now too, and he's super jealous too. He loves the count.
He's one of the best. I can't help that one. But yeah, I don't know. The nice thing about that line for me is it is a pick and choose line, because I know they're making Harry Monster, and that's one where it's like he looks beautiful, but I'm like, he's not nearly that to me versus Bert and Ernie, the Count, Oscar.
I'm so excited about Harry Monster.
But he'll be one that, because I get the others, I'll look at him and just go, oh, come on, you're coming home with me too. It's okay.
Yes, you're going to see him. You're going to fall in love. You know who else is going to love Harry Monster is Alan, Vine Jungle Figure Factory. I can't wait to see Alan make a Beast Man out of Harry.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, what's coming up for you guys? What's on the horizon? Anything exciting?
I've got. I just did an article about the meteorbs finally. So that's out there.
Did you hear
That's out there for my supporters. I'm gonna actually wait till close to Easter to actually publish it for everybody else, because it's too perfect. Like, they look like little eggs, little Easter eggs. So
they're that's perfect timing for that. That's cool. Sean, nothing?
No, I don't have any plans. I'm trying to keep life simple. I've even pulled away from Facebook, so I deactivated that for a while just to give myself some time to not have social media 24/7 the way I had been for quite a long time. So yeah, just keeping it simple. When I get Bert and Ernie, I'm gonna have Bert and Ernie in the Count just partying down here in the basement with me, and I will be a happy camper. And then once Mondo hits, oh boy, you'll be hearing giggles from Pennsylvania, just me giggling all the time when I get these things. So,
from Transylvania. I think you're doing what the Count does, Sean.
I'm counting.
You're making cameo appearances. What you're doing to us fans of you is that we're listening to the podcast, Legends of Grayskull, tuning into the Frenzy. Will we have Sean on there? And then when Sean comes on, it's like, oh my God, it's Sean. Yeah.
I don't know if people do that, but it's nice to be invited, and it is one of those things.
I do that.
My wife is so sick of me just stewing, wanting to talk about this stuff, that she doesn't really give me too much crap if I don't do them all the time. If it's once a month or once every other week or something thing, it's a lot more agreeable, I think.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I'm glad you found a good rhythm, because that's really hard to do. I know, like, there's some folks out there that would like more episodes of the Frenzy, but sometimes the rhythm just, the right rhythm means you just pull back on some things.
Well, in quality over quantity, that's the other thing to me at this point. It's what am I investing my time in? Am I enjoying it? Is it something that, for everybody, I feel like you should kind of weigh that, and for the time you're putting in, does it really bring you this, that, or the other, that makes you happy or fulfilled or something? And so I mean, it works for me. It might not work for everybody, but it's what I want to do, and I'm happier doing it this way for the time being. And I still get to keep in touch with my friends that way. So there you go.
Yeah, I like it, and I can totally understand, because I feel like there are times that I genuinely need to just like pull back, and that's important. And I think that we're with the way YouTube and social media is, it's hard to pull back. It can really be hard, but it's necessary sometimes. It's hard to feel like we got to keep up with stuff, and that's not necessarily necessary, I think.
The burnout is real.
Burnout is real.
Wall, and I hit it many times. So
yeah,
this last time I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna learn my lesson.
It's a wonderful reminder of how we got to hold on to the joy of this stuff, and try to not exploit it. And I don't want the last thing I want to ruin from myself personally is these IPs that I love, that I have such a strong nostalgic connection to, ruin it by getting too disappointed, or ruin it by being too inundated with stuff, or ruin it by thinking like I gotta stay on top of it and gotta make sure I get all the things. And and there are people out there that can do all that and still deeply enjoy it, and I admire that. I think for me, I'm easily overwhelmed.
Oh yeah.
So that's the way I roll.
No, I get it.
Oz, you look like you're like, yep, I have something to say about all that.
Oh no, I mean, just overall, it's gotten to a point where we're oversaturated with how much amazing stuff is coming out.
Yeah, for sure.
So, pick and choose what you enjoy and just have fun with it.
I never thought we would be here, honestly. I never thought this would be the world we are in when it comes to plastic objects. Seriously, just never thought that would be the case.
I got back into collecting just for Origins, and as much fun as I was having with Origins, I've really collected just about everything I could want. And there's still been a thing here and there that's popped up that's been like, oh, you know what? I really like that. I'm going to go for that. Or I'm liking that. I'm going to go for it. I may not be grabbing all of it anymore because I've got the majority of it that I like. So now it's just what catches my eye. There's very, very few things left that I really think I want. Honestly, they started leaking the photos of all the Thundercats X Motu stuff that's coming up. I freaking think they look phenomenal. I want to get all the Thundercats. And then I saw somebody post like how much they were asking for each one. And I was like, never mind. Mind you, again, like I've got no problem spending $50 for an action figure. This guy, he's $50. That's how much he cost me. But an Origins figure with the paint apps, the articulation that it gives, and overall paying more than $20 for that.
How much are they asking for the Thundercats ones?
Let me see. Somebody had mentioned it today in one of the chats. Somebody posted the links to the pre-orders because they went up. And I think it was like 20. I know Masterverse is going up to like $27.99. So they're finally getting hit by the price increase. And then let me see, where was that?
Well, I mean, while you're on this, I just recently, so something's coming up for me. I'm going to be posting a video. I picked up Voltac, and I made a video of my Voltac. Voltac is, for an Origins cartoon collection figure, is $20, and it's amazing. It's an amazing figure.
$20 I feel plenty. Like that's really good for what
it's a good price for this figure. It's one of those moments where it's like, I mean, what's the difference between $17.99 and $20? These Origins figures are essentially $20 each, but this one is amazing, and it's a Mattel Creations exclusive.
$24.99, so $25 each for the Thundercats crossover stuff. And again, Masterverse is jumping up to $27.99.
Yeah.
Look, so when Origins came out, $15 per figure. I thought that was a great price.
Amazing.
I know prices have gone up.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Prices can go up. Prices do go up. My wages don't catch up to that.
Yeah.
And I've got to pick and choose what I am spending my dollars on. And for $25, again, with the paint apps that they are, mind you, it's all new sculpts. Like, they're not reusing stuff from previous figures to make these figures. I think the aesthetic of them is very cool. It's very cartoony. Yeah, Skeletor Mumra, $35.
Yeah. Wow.
And again, I paid, what was it, $30 for Lady Slither? Had no problem with it. It's, again, there's just and this is going to be a different answer for everybody. You're going to place that kind of money in with the value of what you want.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm not saying to anybody that they shouldn't buy these things. Go buy them. If you want them, love them. Like I said, I was totally excited about the Thundercat stuff, but for $25, I'm just not going to spend that kind of money on them. If I catch them on clearance, I'll pick them up, but I'm just not going to spend that kind of money.
It depends on what your priorities are. And also you said something very wise, Oz. You said the prices for these items might be going up, but what I'm getting paid is not. And that's the same place that most of us are in, I think. And so it's going to be difficult for collectors coming up here as prices continue to go up on these things. And if they go up even more, and Bobby's saying, like, limiting yourself is, he's saying it's great being retired from collecting. We all know he still collects when there's something really special, right?
Yeah.
So retiring, like, or narrowing the focus of your collecting is kind of important, and might be really important right now. And I think what Michael said too here, I quit modern collecting and started enjoying the journey of recollecting my 80s toys. And that's kind of where I've been for the most part. Like, but I can't, certain things like the Sesame Street toys, like, I'm having a hard time resisting them, but, figure out a way around your limitations so you can really enjoy yourself still. And new stuff is just going to
truly enjoy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like last year, that was a huge thing for me, like reassessing a lot of this stuff. And some of the stuff was pre-ordered before I dealt with all that stuff. But especially with where I was, and what I love is my wife and I decided what we were going to do financially, and I was tapping out, trying to do a lot of this, keeping up with the Joneses. And then right when San Diego Comic-Con hits, that's when we get the thing about Mondo doing 2000X. And I ran into the kitchen and I showed her photos, and I'm like, this is the only thing I need in my life. and she just goes, if you save for it, I don't care if you get it or not. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, it was almost because I'm so happy.
That's so sweet.
For me, it's like, I know a lot of people go vintage, and I have nothing against that, but I think for me, it's always that if you show me the version that my mind imagined the vintage being in my head when I played with it, instead of it just being, here's this 5p point of articulation or whatever, 6 points, character or figure, and you're giving me all this stuff, and that's the one thing I'm looking forward to then going into the next year. Okay. And granted, I've gone in on the Real Ghostbusters pre-orders because those are nostalgic. I love that cartoon as a kid. and that I'm going in on the Sesame Street stuff for the characters I care about. But honestly, I'm really just waiting for the Mondo to hit, because that is really where my heart is, and I'm probably going to just maybe every now and then pick something from another brand that I like if it grabs my attention enough that I have to do it. Not because it's just I need to keep doing this because it's just who I am anymore. So yeah.
So Kenzo downloaded the files for that and did print off the Filmation crystal cast, kind of painted up. It's looking gorgeous. And you guys, if you go over to Kenzo's Creations YouTube channel, you can definitely check out his video there.
Yeah.
It's badass.
It's awesome, Kenzo.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah, Bobby. Come on.
Come on.
So Oz, what do you got coming up?
Does anybody else have anything they got coming up, or
no? That's
well. Let's go ahead then. Tomorrow night we are going off world. So tomorrow night we're going to be talking about a lot of the latest news that have dropped this week, pop culture, what's coming up that we're excited about as far as like in theaters and everything. This week in theaters, which is where we go back in time to a movie, to a weekend blockbuster from years past, and decide what we're going to do. So we're going to hang out tomorrow night and have fun doing that. And then Saturday night, big thing going on. Huge.
Tell us.
So with Saturday night, this is going to be a very special clubhouse. What we are doing is this weekend, going into Sunday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's the end of the Baratheer campaign.
Oh, yeah.
So starting at 11 p.m. Saturday night, we're doing a 24-hour marathon channel surfing. Now, this is going to be different from like the 24-hour San Diego Comic-Con stream. It's not going to be on one channel for the full 24 hours. We're starting with a pre-show on Purple Gang Gang's YouTube channel. Then it's going at 11 p.m. going to start on my channel. My channel starts the full 24-hour countdown because it ends at 11 p.m. Sunday night. So we're going 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. on my channel. Then we're switching to the Let's Go Off-World channel from 3 a.m. until 7 a.m. Then we're going to be heading over to New to Mythics on Greg Schmerber's channel. After that, that's going on from like 7 a.m. to, I want to say 11 or 1 p.m. Somewhere in there. We're going to be heading over to the Art by Ackerman channel, which is Curtis's channel. And he's going to be doing a dual live stream with the Legion's ladies. So it's going to be simulcast on both of their channels. After that, it's going over to the Latin Legions channel. And then that is going to take us right into the final stretch, where that's going to be on the Just Shelve It channel. And that will be simulcast along with Trevor 16 Shooter's channel, Legion's Lounge, for the final leg up until 11 p.m. Sunday. So it is a huge, massive event with several content creators all across the Mythic Legions community. And that is something that we got going on this weekend. That's going to be massive.
That's incredible. You're like, that sounds like another Guinness Book of World Records epic thing.
I mean, it's a moment in history, right? Like this dragon, it's a once in a lifetime thing. They're not doing another dragon like this. This is a one and only kind of product that's coming out. There's not going to be another dragon like this.
That's true.
You know, it's a one-time thing. So it's going to be our little mark on this momentous toy history. The Four Horsemen have already said this is the most articulated toy they have ever done.
That's so cool.
Well, I mean, it's freaking big enough that it should be the most articulated thing they've ever done.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that neck moves.
Yeah.
Hey, Speaking Moistly, good to see you.
Ooh, cringiest name in Toy Tube, Speaking Moistly. You can definitely go check out some videos now. They've got some videos where they've shown like more of how like the neck movement is. So it can do like side to side, it can do up and down. There's two different versions of the neck. They got one that's more upright, and then you can buy the Fiery Breath Pack, which has an extended neck as long as the alternate head for the fiery breath. So I mean, again, it's just a lot of cool stuff. We're going to be talking about it all weekend long through there. Plus cool. You're going to get to go see Stavros, once he arrives tomorrow. I'm going to be opening up all these fun toys I showed off tonight, and we're going to be talking dragons this weekend, because like we tried to keep most of the shows for the marathon a little dragon themed. Bud has been putting together a slideshow. Now, he was just putting dragons in Motu in the slideshow. I had to continuously remind him it's dragons in other media. So it's not all just dragons in Motu. There's supposed to be dragons in other media. I'm hoping Bud remembered that. He definitely was forgetting when I was talking about it. But we know how much Curtis absolutely loves Motu, the dragons of Motu. So Bud's putting together a big slideshow for him.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah, but that's a lot of fun. And then, of course, after that, we have